Hey everybody, it's your girl Lady J. Welcome to another episode of the Business Banger Spotlight right here on JQLM Radio, a division of Ego Entertainment Network. And of course, we have another awesome guest for you today. But before we introduce our guest, we must get those formalities out of the way, as we always do. If this is your first time tuning into the Business Banger Spotlight show, or to JQLM Radio, and you would like to share with your family, friends, and followers on all the different ways that they can tune in and become a listener as well, this is what you would say. If this is your first time tuning into the show or to JQLM Radio and you would like to share with your family, friends, and followers on all the different ways that they can tune in, be sure to tell them to download the JQLM Radio app on their Apple or Android devices. You can also listen live to JQLM Radio 24/7, 365 via Amazon Alexa, TuneIn app, the Stream and Simple Radio app, and a host of other platforms of which you can find located on our website, where you can also listen live at egoentertainmentnet.com. Also, don't forget to follow, like, and share us. We do follow back. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at JQLM Radio. You can also connect with Ego Entertainment Network at EgoEntNet. That's EgoEntNet on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter also. Also, connect with us on LinkedIn at Ego Entertainment Network. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our YouTube channel, Ego TV Network, at youtube.com/Ego TV Network. All right. Now that we have those formalities out of the way, it is now time to introduce our guest. And our guest today is none other than Sam Mitchell of Autism Rocks and Rolls. Welcome to the show, Sam.
Thank you for having me on. Good to be here.
All right. So, autism, that's something that well, I'm glad to have you. Autism is something that is common, of course, in our society today. We know more about it. We know the symptoms and what to look for. So, but before we get into that, can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself, like who you are, where you're from, and what you like to do in your spare time?
Why not? So, hello, everyone. My name is Sam Mitchell. I run the podcast, Autism Rocks and Rolls. It is a podcast about autism and how we cope with daily struggles that you may or may not understand. Through the podcast, it's grown so much into a nonprofit and a corporation with sponsors, a board of 9, events in Indianapolis, where I'm from, around the southern central area, and speaking engagements. I've spoken in Oklahoma, Orlando, Canada, Washington, D.C., and Stuart, Florida, and some of my hobbies are creative writing and enjoying the great outdoors when it's summertime.
Okay, Sam. Awesome. Awesome. Amazing. So before you start this podcast, what were you doing?
I was trying to figure out who I was and trying to just fit in when I really wanted to not even be here or not be in public. I didn't want to leave my room.
Okay, and are you someone who has autism?
Yep.
Understandable. Have you had any jobs in the corporate world, like maybe working at a retail store or anywhere else before you start this podcast?
Right, I get what you're saying. It's not in a corporation world, but I worked at a boarding place beforehand where I got some job experience.
Okay, awesome. And so tell me, what inspired you to start a podcast about autism?
It was after I joined my high school's media club, and I fell in love with it so much that I decided to start my own, and that was when Autism Rocks and Rolls was born, because I saw that I wasn't going to be a senior in high school forever. So I figured the only way to enhance these skills was to learn more by, one, going to college, which is where I'm at currently, but two, also start my own. Didn't want to wait till then. I wanted to learn more.
Okay, awesome. So you fell in love with media.
In retrospect, yeah.
Awesome. And what made you decide to have autism be the topic of your show? Aside, of course, from you having autism.
Well, I think it's perfect timing, too, because not only was it personal, but it was also professional, since it was becoming more prevalent and more people knew about it. We went from 1 in 36 to 1 in 35 to 1 in 33. And now we got out of the awareness stage. We're still in it, but more and more people are starting to accept it and see that these behaviors are not something we can help. And what's very frustrating is if it's not in your life, it's not in your dictionary. That's what I'm trying to get at, is make it in their dictionary, and it just has to be there. It doesn't have to be, oh, not here and a story or erased. I'm not asking you to read the definition. I'm just asking you to make it in the dictionary where you can just
Right.
look at, oh, autism, cool, next page.
Okay. And so tell us some of the things that you cover in your show. And do you have guests?
Yeah, I've had some major guests. Some major guests I've had are professional wrestlers. I'm a wrestling fan at heart, so kind of the country in me, I guess. So I've had Mick Foley on, Kane on, Buff Bagwell to name a couple, and then I've
Mm-hmm.
had big autism advocates out there. I've had America's Got Talent contestants, American Idol contestants, former and current. So the variety definitely sticks. I've had people with inspiring stories. One of the latest people who had an inspiring story was Amber Lee Snyder. She's basically a cowgirl who got in a car crash that left her paralyzed from the waist down. Doctor said, "You're not riding again." She basically said, "Too bad, I'm riding again," and rode a horse.
Oh,
At the
awesome. Awesome. So you talk about different things and let people tell their stories on your platform. So that would be,
That's
would
part
it
of
be
it.
okay? Yeah. So I was going to say, would it be safe to say that it not only is bringing awareness to autism, but showing people that people with autism can operate in some of the same areas and industries that everyone else does?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a full blown college right now with
Mm,
resources, clearly, but I'm
right.
still doing it. I'm still going to class at 9 a.m. in the morning without
Hmm.
help. I'm still learning the information with the help, clearly, but it's not
Hmm.
with like it's not with to the point where I'm needed there 24/7. I could still go to the
Hmm.
building and edit on my own.
Right. Awesome. So can you tell everyone how are they able to tune into your show?
You can find me on your favorite media platform. So if you think I'm there, I'm probably there. I'm on Podbean, YouTube, Spotify. And if you Google me, something will pop up.
Okay. And what would be the criteria for someone that is interested in being a guest?
Well, the problem with that though is this is kind of a good problem to have is I'm booked out.
Hmm.
So you can definitely try to. You might have to be on a waiting list, but if
Hmm.
people back out all the time, and I'm like, okay, come on in. But the
Hmm.
requirement is you just have to have a story, which means you don't have to have autism. You can just go from surviving a car crash to you beat stage 4 breast cancer.
Hmm. Okay. So just anyone who has a story that's willing to share.
Right. Even the fact that you're a survivor of sexual assault. That's a story, in my opinion.
Right. Okay. And when you started this podcast, was it just you? Do you have a team? Do you have help?
So the podcast, it's me. It's mainly me,
Hmm.
the editing. But as far as like marketing, the speaking engagements, the nonprofit, the events, that's
Hmm.
my board. That's the 9 people that I have on the board that do most of the stuff. I help out when I can, but they do the majority.
Right. So you said that it transitioned into a nonprofit. So what would you say has been the greatest challenge that you faced in being the head of a nonprofit now?
So I think this is an issue with every nonprofit is staying above waters. It's not because you're going broke. It's just
Hmm.
because every nonprofit has this. They have to fundraise 24/7 to stay relevant. And my kicker is sometimes we don't have, I think, the full time that I want to fundraise so I can stay relevant. I'm making money, but it's not
Hmm.
everyday money. I wouldn't be able to pay the bills if I
Right.
had this as my full-time job.
Right. Awesome. And what would you say has been your greatest success thus far
The
in this
greatest
journey?
success I have is that people care. It's when Kane comes on. It's when people nationwide who are known in Indiana, Texas, Africa, Canada want to hear this episode, and that person came on because they took the time for me. When in reality, I didn't. I was just begging for someone to have 30 minutes with. That's
Mm-hmm.
something.
Awesome. Awesome. So, real quick, we're going to take a quick break. We are talking to Sam Mitchell. He is the host and the founder of Autism Rocks and Rolls. So, stick and stay. We will be right back. You are tuned in to the Business Banger Spotlight Show right here on JQLM Radio with your girl, Lady J, a division of Ego Entertainment Network. Don't go anywhere. What if you had the ability to encourage yourself just by putting on a piece of clothing? It's possible when you shop GDFAM. God Didn't Forget About Me apparel. Shop dresses, t-shirts, sets, jumpsuits, sweatsuits, and more for men and women. When you look good, you feel good. And when you can remind yourself that you have not been forgotten, you feel great. Shop GDFAM now at GodDidn'tForgetAboutMe.com. Music. Powerful Advertising Trap by Anton Vlasov on Pixabay.com. All right, and we are back. You are tuned into the Business Banger Spotlight Show with your girl, Lady J, right here on JQLM Radio, division of Ego Entertainment Network. And shout out to our sponsor, GDFAM, God Didn't Forget About Me brand apparel. And it is owned by none other than Shan White out of Atlanta, Georgia. So shout out to her. Make sure you all go check her out at GodDidn'tForgetAboutMe.com. We have been talking to Sam Mitchell. He is the host of Autism Rocks and Roll show, as well as the founder of the Autism Rocks and Rolls nonprofit organization. So, Sam, before the break, you were telling us about the nonprofit. What services do you provide through your nonprofit?
So the services is the events and the speaking engagements mainly, but we offer podcast coaching sessions and merchandise. Let me see if I can. Well,
Okay.
Is this a video episode, or is it just audio?
No, this is just audio.
Okay. Well, I have a shirt that I could have shown, but the description is it's green and my logo on it. It's actually. Oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
It's actually the shirt that my hat's covering.
Oh, okay. All right. So you provide the speaking, and you have apparel for sale and things of that sort, correct?
Yep.
And then and then you inspire people through the show. All right, awesome. And so if you could give advice to anyone that was thinking about, let's say, starting their own business or starting their own show, and they have autism, but maybe scared to have some reservations about it, what advice would you give to them?
Well, I think from a personal standpoint, if the world could be nice and not be stupid, we get along so much better. So that's a personal advice. As professional advice, if you want to start something, I would just say try it. I mean, I think if it even doesn't work out, I mean, you've seen children stand out in this heat to make lemonade. And how much money do they make? They probably don't make a lot, granted, but it's a start and they try something, right? They're making money. Try something that is a lemonade stand. It doesn't have to be the fanciest, but it could be something where you're talking to people, you're promoting, you're actually trying to sell something clearly, but also offer a service. I mean, that makes you happy clearly. I mean, if you could work at an ice cream truck and you are happy giving people ice cream, okay, I think that's fine. Like, I'd be happy. I probably may have a hard time not eating it, but at least I can be happy giving a child ice cream.
Right. And so if you would like to connect with Sam, you can visit the website at www.autismrocksandrolls.com, or you can email info@autismrocksandrolls.com. I want to thank you so much for being my guest today, Sam, and thank you for sharing your journey with us.
Not a problem.
All right, guys. And so I want to thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Business Banger Spotlight Show with your girl, Lady J, right here on JQLM Radio, a division of Ego Entertainment Network. And until next time, y'all remember, keep banging in business. And we're out.